Leadership Story Talks, where we discuss the practices that engage, motivate, develop, retain, and attract people to businesses. We'll give you principles and tools based on real-world stories to leverage listening and storytelling to become a better leader and management professional. Leadership Story Talks is produced by Narativ, a company that focuses on personal storytelling for business.
I had to use the power of story to get people who didn't have any expectations or want to have any expectations for my daughter to take action and support her and be part of the team and to be her deputized advocate and to advocate for her and other people with disabilities and to give us some cash to pay for some stuff because we didn't have enough. And so, we did that for 11 years. And so I learned that, boy, if I tell the story this way, people will get involved. If I tell it this way, they won't. So it was a trial by error kind of thing. And I found that particularly when you're tying story to action, if you can give a definitive, this is how you can help to change that transit, in storytelling, you have that transition, that transformation process from, normal, not normal, problem, solve problem, and so I gave them a way to solve a problem. And it wasn't going to take away her disability. It wasn't going to take away all the problems we have. But if it helped buy a new wheelchair, that was cool. You could sell some grocery certificates to help, fund the stuff. If you could talk to your pastor about, does a church have a fund? It was really one of those kinds of things. And then what was so beautiful about it is that people began to tell Mikelle's story without me.
That's amazing.
And they began to advocate. And that's when I noticed, wow, there's a power in this. And you'd see money coming from the most unexpected places. And, and I learned also that it isn't a direct path from story to outcome.
So, Katherine Carol, that's who we just heard. A really great interview, very eye-opening and lots of dimensions to it. Not only about, what she advocates for, and but also really kind of a parent-daughter relationship. Clearly a community builder who, went from supporting her daughter to then supporting this whole community, and then teaming up with her own daughter. And then the other aspect, the other layer, was just the power of storytelling and how much she talked about that. But in terms, it was really difficult to actually figure out which quote to choose, because there were so many things we could have taken from this. But the one I did want to discuss today is just that, the idea of making a small change. I think what I've seen a lot in our work is that people kind of stop themselves because they feel like, okay, I need to make this change over here. I want to advocate for something. And it could be, changing something in my sales team, just like it could be trying to get people to view people with disabilities in a very different way, and just like Katherine does. And so that can be kind of daunting when you just look at that bigger picture. And what I liked about what Katherine said in that quote that we took out is the fact that, she started with, well, let's pay for the chair. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to use storytelling to do that. And then lo and behold, they got the funds for the chair. That worked. That inspired a lot of people in her direct community. And then there's this ripple effect that starts. She starts using storytelling for one thing after another. And then people themselves start to tell stories about her story to advocate for the larger community of people with learning disabilities and physical disabilities. So I thought that was really interesting.
What she's very gifted in, partly because of her purpose and then her passion and interest in championing her daughter, is she builds relationships. And while she's building relationships, both are using it for an opportunity to educate and allow people to come towards them and become more comfortable and find small and large ways they can help. And and it's challenging when you're meeting somebody who is very different, or we're worried about making a mistake or saying
Mm.
the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing in a situation. And when she was talking, I thought about when I was in grade school in Queens growing up. It was eighth grade, and I believe we got the charge to go volunteer someplace. And down the road from my school was a developmentally disabled center that was working with students. And I knew I wanted to do something, but I wasn't entirely comfortable with the physicality of volunteering directly with their clients. So I raised my hand and I ended up being, doing clerical things upstairs, but through the contact, filing and alphabetizing myriads of things by hand because there was no automated anything. I was able to contribute. I was able to show up once a week and learn by observation sometimes, and then felt good.
Mm.
Um, and ironically, many decades later, I've met somebody in Queens who is now running a very extensive um, development. It's called Queens Centers for Progress. So it brings all these different organizations together that help and advocate for change for adults as well as children with developmental needs. And that place is in the same center I was volunteering as a kid. And
Mm.
again, many years later, finding new ways to engage and get educated and championing their cause. So I think it's the power of doing some small things and figure out where we can bring the best part of us, and then just keep showing up and listening to the cases. But she is amazing. She is amazing and unstoppable. So I was
Mm.
really thrilled to meet her. And I've
Yeah.
connected those to her, to the organization, saying, here's an FYI, here's something local that's happening that you need to know about.
Yes. Yeah. 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 And just to come back to your example, your experience, to me, it's very telling because there were really at least two choices. The one that you made, which is, well, I'm going to go for the clerical thing because I do really want to make an impact in this organization, and even though that might not have been the obvious choice. But then the second thing would have been to just walk away and try to find something else.
Mhm.
Because you could have also thought, well, I just don't have the string skills or level of comfort to do that particular thing. And you wouldn't necessarily have, not everybody would have
Yeah, I
looked
was
for other
really shy
ways.
and, I had everything. I was just worried, like I
Yeah.
wanted to have a check mark on my list of things I was supposed to do at school, but I
Yeah.
just was worried. So I went, and fortunately, whoever was, saw me there, said, well, give her something to do. And that
Yeah. You
was
found a way. You
life
found a way.
affirming. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too, is again, to Catherine's point, and now the point you're making, I really encourage everyone to look at, what are the small contributions you can make, because those things accumulate. And that's when you get to the big impact.
Hmm.
Rather than sort of saying, well, if I can't impact anything in a big way, then I'm going to walk away. That doesn't accomplish anything, and it doesn't really help any kind of cause that might hold that you might hold dear. And again, it doesn't have to be. We're talking about the, kind of nonprofit because of an advocacy field because of the interview we had, but take that into your business as well. This same kind of mindset of, where can I make a contribution, even if it seems really small, it's still worth it,
Hmm.
because those things accumulate. So I think that's a really good message, and it reminds me also of our previous episode with Laura Miller around
Oh
AI,
yeah.
where we talked about these walls and this wall analogy, and here's another one, right, that we might have right in front of us is, well, I want to make this big impact over here, but it doesn't seem like there's any way in. Actually, keep looking, because that's a
Hmm.
wall you're putting up. So there
Hmm.
might actually be, there probably is a way in that you just haven't thought of. And maybe it's finding the right person like you did, right? You found someone in that organization that was willing to help and saw value in what you could offer, because that was truly valuable to the organization, what you did.
Yeah, so thanks. So yeah, it's amazing the stories that come back and the lessons learned that we all are, moving forward. So that's why we have a great community right now. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's funny because I'm also remembering in that episode with Catherine, that we're talking about now, gratitude was a big piece of it. And I'm hearing some gratitude for that person that brought you in. and just for that opportunity to have that experience. But that story she told about the male person and giving that person a handwritten note by all these people that he didn't know, thanking him for his services, and everything he does. So, and it was so unexpected for him, but he was so grateful. And I think that really caused me to also think about who are the people who've had an impact, and let's go and tell them that they've had an impact, because it's kind of gratitude 2.0. We can be grateful for them, but let's be grateful and actually tell them we're grateful.
Well, it's true. True. Paying
Yeah.
attention and just acknowledging can be a gift on any
Yeah.
given day. It's free. It's very free,
Yeah,
cost
that's
friendly.
right. Doesn't cost
Simple.
anything. All right. Anything else on this topic?
No, I think we're good until the next time. I can't wait to see what happens next. And let's not forget to tell people we have this 100 episode festival in the works to celebrate
Yes.
all the good people that are part of our community.
That's right. That's very exciting, and there'll be a lot more on that in the days to come. Well, as always, thanks for co-hosting with me. Another great debrief episode here,
Yes.
and and thanks to all our listeners for tuning in. Please go and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget our YouTube channel where we also post these, and spread the word. There's a lot of wisdom in these interviews we do with these wonderful guests. So we encourage you to do that and go to narativ.com, narativ.com/podcast, where you can find our entire archive. So lots of resources for everyone. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of their week. And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
Bye.
For more information on the narrative listening and storytelling method and how it can help your business, go to narativ.com.